In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your thermostat housing and thermostat on your Ford Focus. It's located above your alternator. Next, you're going to remove your engine shield under here, as is missing. Remove your 3 in the back, 1, 2, 3 retainers. And then go to your front and remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Using a T30 Torx bit socket, remove your Torx bit screws. Remove your fasteners underneath. That one's missing. Do the same on the other side. Remove this lower plastic shield. Loosen up your drain plug for your radiator. You can use a flathead screwdriver, maybe a pair of pliers if it doesn't turn. Once it's done draining, you're going to close it down. Next, we're going to remove the radiator hoses. Okay, so we're behind the serpentine belt. The alternator is right below. You're going to want to put a bag over that, something to protect it from the coolant. Make sure you cover it completely. And then you have 2 hose clamps down there. In order to get to those hose clamps, you're going to want to remove your neck on your washer reservoir. There are 3 bolts holding on the thermostat housing. These 2 you can see from the top. Here's your hoses. And then this one you're going to have to do from the bottom. So to remove the neck for the washer reservoir, you're just going to pull it out. This comes out and this comes out. I already have my locking pliers on my hose clamp. You can also use the long extension ones that have the cable that close it down. Next, we're going to remove our hose. I'm going to use a pry bar now that I have my clamp clamped. Make sure you have a drip pan below. I'm going to remove my hose clamp and my locking pliers. I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers that have the curve at the end to get to this top hose. Once you get that hose clamp locked, makes your life a little easier. Just go past the point when you're squeezing it so that it locks. It'll make your life a lot easier. So now we're going to use a pry bar and try to take it off. Okay, I'm pulling from the back side of the hose. Once you get that clamp loose and the hose cracked free, you should be able to pull it off. I'm going to use a pry bar on the top as I pull. I'm just going to push that down and out of the way, and then we're going to try to get to our bolts. Using an 8mm socket and an extension, we're going to take out this bolt. There's one directly next to it, right here, that we're going to go for next. The other bolt on the other side is a little tough to see. You're going to lose your extension and just keep that long socket and use a 1/4 inch ratchet. I'm using a pry bar to hold my socket still so it doesn't undo the unscrewing process, since you really can't get your hands in there. All right, so I'm going to take out this bolt the rest of the way with my hand and set it aside. All right, so now we're on the bottom underneath, and our third bolt is right there. So we're going to use a ratchet wrench, 8mm, to crack this loose. Once you get it loose enough, you're going to reach up there and take it out the rest of the way. Set your bolt aside. All right, so now we're back up top, and we're going to remove our thermostat and housing. To do that, we're just going to give it a little bit of a wiggle, crack it loose. Again, your drip pan's below to catch your fluid, and just pull straight out, and then take it out. So we're going to clean up the surface. I'm going to use this plastic blade to do so. It's aluminum, so you don't want to gouge into it at all. Just make sure it's nice and clean before installing your part. All right, so make sure your gasket is fully on your thermostat housing. It should stick out slightly. And now we're going to feed it down into where it belongs. Make sure the two bolt holes are facing up. Gently line it up. Once you have it in the general vicinity, you're going to take your bolt and start lining them up. I'm doing the one that's closest and easiest to get to first. Get it started, a couple of threads. Now I'm going to move on to my next bolt. All right, now that we've gotten that one in, we're going to go for our other one on the other side. Okay, so you have two bolts started now. The third is on the bottom, so we're going to go underneath to do that. Now we're underneath, and we're going to go for this last bolt. I'm going to thread it in by hand first. Now that it's threaded in, I'm going to try to tighten it down. Using this ratchet wrench, it is not easy to get to. So use your patience. If you can get a torque wrench in here, it should be torqued to 89 inch-pounds. Otherwise, do the best you can, get it tight, and then go about 1/4 of a turn. And that feels good to me. Now we're going to tighten up our other two bolts using the short socket with an extension for this one. Now we're going to tighten up our other bolt. This one I'm just going to use the long socket. Again, if you can't get a torque wrench in there, you're going to snug it up and go about 1/4 of a turn. And it's 89 inch-pounds if you can get a torque wrench in. Go to this other bolt and snug this one up as well and go 1/4 of a turn. Now we're going to put our hoses on. Let's start with this lower one. Make sure your hose clamp is on there. I took mine off in the locked position. So we're going to start with our lower hose, slide that on, and then we're going to slide on our top hose. Make sure those lines on the hose line up with the notch. Now we're going to tighten our hose clamp. Just going to squeeze it again and unlock it. And now we're going to go for the lower one. Get it in position. Give it a squeeze, release, and it should unlock it. All right, let's remove our bag over the alternator now. Just make sure you don't drip anything into it as you're removing. And now you can replace your filler neck for your washer reservoir. Install your splash shield. Line up these two holes first, and then work your way around. Start your screws by hand. There's 2 here. Over under the driver's side. Tighten them up. Do the same on the other side. One goes here, here, and here. There's some push pins that belong around the perimeter. Ours are all missing, so we're gonna have to replace ours. Just do the best you can and put them back. And just follow the perimeter and do the same thing. There is another shield around here that covers up all of this. Just follow your red push pins that are around the perimeter and reattach it. Remove your cap. Set it aside and begin to fill up your coolant. You're going to want to fill this all the way up to the max line. The radiator is going to take in the fluid until it can't anymore, and then you're going to start the vehicle. You're going to let the vehicle run for a while, let it get warm, let that thermostat open up. When it does that, it will burp out some air, suck in the rest of the coolant, fill it up, top it off. Make sure your heat's going as you're doing this, and make sure you have heat. You can shut the vehicle off after, check the level, make sure it's at max. Now we're going to put on the coolant cap. Make sure it clicks closed.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.